And here it comes. Let's take a look here on satellite and radar.
Figuring out where that line is going to be. Talking about it for days. It is here.
Starting to pick up some snow there.
We're starting to see snow in our western counties.
Already seeing a lot of travel disruptions.
65 cancellations in and out of RDU.
We've been tracking this. We've been waiting for this. Don't wait until the snow starts to get home.
Need to do something. Yesterday was the day because today is a WRAL weather alert day. You heard what I said. WRAL Weather Alert Day, and that's why we are tracking your weather conditions all day long. Thank you for joining us. I'm Chris Lovingood.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Of course, we have to get right over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner because as each hour passes, the storm only gets closer.
It does, and so we're still looking at snow across a good bit of the viewing area. In some places, it will mix with sleet and then freezing rain in some of our southeastern counties. We're expecting the roads to get messy pretty quickly, and of course, with ice accumulation in our southeastern counties, we could end up with some power outages. Let's jump on out and take a peek at where it's happening. First of all, let's go with the wide view. This low pressure system along the coast is spreading moisture well to the north, and then another low is developing offshore of North Carolina, and you can see some of that light rain there along the coast. So these two working together to help to bring us precipitation, and because this low will move up the coast, we will end up with some of the heavier totals along the coast. As a matter of fact, the Outer Banks could see some really significant amounts of snow out of this. So looking at just a little light snow west of Greensboro, Winston-Salem. Eventually, this starts to move into our viewing area. We'll give it another couple of hours. Closer to 10 o'clock, we start to see that developing. Some light patchy rain down to the south will turn into a wintry mix of some sleet and freezing rain as we get into, say, the 10, 11 o'clock hour. We did update our snowfall forecast. Again, northeastern counties likely to see the heaviest from north of Wilson up toward South Hill, Warrenton, 3 to 6 inches. Here around the Triangle, 1 to 3. And then in our southern counties, up to an inch, but mixing with some sleet. We could see some sleet mixing in around the Triangle area as well. So here's where we'll likely see enough ice for power outages. Fayetteville, Clinton, Goldsboro, that's where the ice could exceed 1/4 inch. And we check out Futurecast, watch that snow start to develop in our northern counties and a little light rain down to the south. And once we get closer to lunchtime, it becomes much more widespread and roads will start to get tricky. That's 5 o'clock, there's 7 o'clock. And then during the evening after dinner, we'll likely see a lull in the precipitation. And then after that, Thursday morning, another round, and that's going to be snow for almost everyone. We'll also have some bitter wind chills on Thursday night, and into early Friday. Driving for today, you want to make sure that you're getting to where you need to be by around 10 o'clock. By lunchtime, we really start to see the travel deteriorating. Right now, it's dry. As we take a look at our Jimmy V camera, boy, those winds are really starting to pick up. That wind out of the northeast is delivering the cold air. So it is 32 currently in the Triangle, and we're looking at temperatures holding in the 20s and 30s through the afternoon. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the W Area Traffic Center. Listen, dry conditions right now, as you can see from I-40 and Rock Quarry Road, traffic flowing nicely in both directions. Over in Durham, here's a live look at I-885 TW Alexander Drive, very light traffic. But, you know, it's been a relatively quiet start to the commute, which means that many of you are either working from home or not going out at all, which is good news. If you don't have to get out, don't get out. We just had a handful of crashes on local roads, including this one on Tryon Road in the eastbound lane near Gorman Street. We're not seeing any delays in that particular area, but if you're navigating that intersection, just watch for some police activity. But really, no other incidents to report on any of our major routes from Wendell to Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill. All those major routes are delay-free at this hour. Because of these changing weather conditions in the next few hours, if you have to head out, tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3. You can listen to us anywhere in the Triangle.
And as you listen to us, you will hear from our largest team in North Carolina here to help you prepare for this blast of winter weather. And our team coverage continues now with Laura Levine. Laura, you have stepped out of I think you're still in the storm tracker there. What exactly are you seeing on the roads this morning?
Chris, good morning. Right now we are traveling on Southwest Cary Parkway where you can see the brine-covered roads here this morning. We've seen that across the viewing area from Durham, Wake to Warren County. They have been pre-treating these roads for quite some time, they being the NCDOT. But we know the secondary roads here are really going to be challenging for travelers, and that's because that'll likely be the last of the roads that you see get cleared. We spoke with the city of Raleigh's transportation manager who says treating these roads have been a major undertaking. We know that with the secondary roads, it takes quite some time for them to thaw out and get cleared. Here's what he had to say.
We've put out roughly 45,000 gallons
of brine during this event. The treatment for the lower volume roads would come once we start to see some accumulation. But we're going to put our focus on our arterials first.
So the NCDOT has laid out more than 300,000 gallons of brine across several counties. So that was just Raleigh. We know that it's going to be really helpful for them once it's time to get these roads cleared tomorrow. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Cary.
And the winter storm is forcing schools across the area to change their schedules today. Wake County schools are closed, so are Cumberland County schools. And all the other counties in red on this map will also have no school today. Counties in green, they'll have remote learning. That includes Durham and Orange counties. And you can find the full list of schedule changes on WRAL.com.
And you know what, Michelle, we've already seen a lot of issues with flights at RDU because of the weather this morning. Let's start at WRAL's Destiny Patterson. She has been in RDU all morning long. Destiny, dozens of flights are canceled this morning.
That's right. Cancellations have stayed right around 65, but we are seeing delays starting to climb. According to FlightAware, we're now at 8 delays. If you take a look at the board here, we're seeing delays out of New York primarily, but also we're seeing a lot of cancellations on the board, another delay out of Tampa there. But I want to tell you how RDU is preparing for this winter weather to come into our area. If you take a look at your screen, this new equipment that they have, it's called an Oshkosh. It has a brush on the front, and that helps clear any snow. Now, with this winter system, we are expecting that there could be some ice possible in our area here at RDU. Crews have a truck filled with a chemical de-icer that can spray an entire runway in just one pass, and that's thanks to a 75-foot wingspan.
Sometimes the biggest challenge is just visibility when you're out there fighting the storm. You know, when that snow comes down and it's, all white, it does make it challenging for us, but, we always find a way to push through.
Wood, who you just heard from there, an RDU airport supervisor, he says that the airport tries to keep at least one.
Coming up on 8:14 on your Wednesday morning as we take a live look over Sanford. All clear right now, but that's going to change. You're watching WRAL News, available on Hulu and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device. Now it's kind of just a waiting game. We're waiting for the snow to get here. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner has a look around town.
Yeah, we take a look here at Fayetteville, Raleigh, Apex, and Chapel Hill. Cloudy skies everywhere. So in the last few hours, the clouds have really thickened up. We've already started to see a little bit of snow showing up on the radar to our west, really kind of up that I-85 corridor to Greensboro, and then up into Virginia. Look at that, Mecklenburg County, Virginia.
Stay safe with the latest WRAL Weather Alert Day info. Get up to the minute weather and traffic conditions when you get in your car. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. Your time is 8:26. I am Chris Lovingood. It is a WRAL Weather Alert Day, and we're going to keep you informed all day long, starting with Elizabeth Gardner.
Here's the dual Doppler 5000 radar. Look at all this blue that's showing up. I think every time we show this, every about 15 minutes, it starts to fill in a little bit more. It's still far enough away from us that we're not likely to see slick roads soon, but sometime in the next 2 to 3 hours, the roads are going to start to get slick. A little bit of light patchy rain down to the south, and that will start to change over to some sleet and freezing rain. Here's a look at the big picture. Plenty of snow back to our west and rain to our south. But what will happen is a low develops here offshore and really runs the engine of pushing the energy in and helping to produce more of that snow, especially in our eastern counties. It is gray in Raleigh right now. Gray skies here, town by town. Temperatures range from 28 in Lewisburg to 37 in Fayetteville. And that, of course, is why the mixed wintry precipitation is likely there. Ken?
Happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We're keeping it outside, showing you those dry conditions. I-40 in Carytown Boulevard. Not much traffic to report, which means many of you are either working from home or not going to work at all today and delaying your appointments. In terms of the major routes into the capital city, very little to no delays whatsoever. Just a handful of crashes showing up on our live traffic sensors. Similarly, in Durham, all the major routes are delay-free at this hour.
This morning, we're following this story. The winter storm forcing schools across the area to change their schedules today. Wake County schools are closed today, and so are all the other counties that you see in red on this map. Counties in green will have remote learning, and you can find the full list of schedule changes over on WRAL.com. Next on Fox 50, a look at road preparations in areas where freezing is most likely. And then up next on Today, Monica Lewinsky on her new podcast.
So let's take a look here on satellite and radar.
Figuring out where that line is going to be, talking about it for days. It is here.
Starting to pick up some snow there.
We're starting to see snow in our western counties.
Already seeing a lot of travel disruptions.
65 cancellations in and out of RDU.
We've been tracking this. We've been waiting for this.
Don't wait until the snow starts to get home.
To do something, yesterday was the day because today is a WRAL weather alert day.
Yes, it is. It's a WRAL weather alert day, as Chris just said. Thanks for sticking with us here on Fox 50. I'm Michelle McConaughey.
I'm Chris Lemongood. I may have just said it, but we have to say it again. Giving you a live look outside at Roxborough this morning. You have some vehicles out on the road right now, but a lot of places today, if you don't have to be out on the road, that's something you kind of want to reconsider today because it is a WRAL weather alert day. Elizabeth Gardner's here to walk you through that a little bit. Boone behind you there looking like a snow globe.
It does. Nice and snowy there. They've had some snow coming down pretty heavily for the last few hours. We were pretty warm yesterday. We hit low 50s and Boone was a bit warm as well. So right now the roads are just wet, but as that snow continues to come down, it is likely to start to stick on the roads there and certainly for us too. Not crippling, not inconvenient. We're going to be in the significant category with this storm. Of course, we're going to see closings and delays. All the schools in our viewing area are either closed or have moved to remote learning. Outages are possible, especially in our southeastern counties where we end up with some freezing rain. We may see some power outages, and we may not see much improvement until we get into the day on Friday. So once this really starts to kick in, you just want to, stay put until we start to see some sunshine on Friday. Here's a look at dual Doppler 5000 radar. Here it comes. We're looking at some scattered snow, I should say, along the I-85 corridor and northward on up into Virginia. We've had some really light patchy rain down south closer to the coast, but let's zoom in here. We've had a little round of some flurries that have rolled through South Hill. That's starting to lift a little farther north, but all the snow is coming our way. Here's a look at the big picture, and you can see this band of snow here moving into the mountains, a low down to the south. Another one develops here offshore, and that's really going to intensify the precipitation over us, and it'll bring some heavier totals the farther east you go. So we have a new snow totals map, kind of pushing it off to the north and east, where you could see 3 to 6 inches, and we could see maybe up to 9 or 10 inches along the outer banks. Right here in the triangle, 1 to 3, and our southern counties up to an inch of a snow sleet mix and some freezing rain. Fayetteville, Clinton, Goldsboro, more likely to see that freezing rain where we could have some power outages. We take a look at Futurecast, and you can see all that precipitation starting to roll in here before lunchtime, and it just keeps on going through the afternoon. Pink shaded areas where it's freezing rain, and even though this is not showing much mix from Lillington to Smithfield, we certainly have the chance of some of that mixing and being some sleet. It is likely to continue on and off up until around 9 or 10, and then we get a little bit of a break during the overnight period, and then another round of precipitation starts for tomorrow morning, Thursday morning. Some scattered snow showers, even down south where we don't always see the snow, is likely to be with us all the way up until around lunchtime on Thursday. Let's take a look at what is happening over there at the Doppler 5000 desk with Chris Michaels talking about what happens when this is all over.
Kind of pushing things forward here as we go through the next couple of days. Tomorrow, I think a lot of us are just going to be ready to get the salt and the brine off of the cars, as necessary as it is. Tomorrow's probably not going to be the day to do that. Friday, we'll at least see more sunshine, and then Saturday will be a mix of clouds and sun. So those will be good days to do it. But the kind of frustrating thing I ran into the last time around was that I would wash the car and then we wouldn't get rain, and then I'd drive on the road and the salt and brine would come back on. And unfortunately, I think that's going to be a dilemma that we run into moving forward, because you look after the storm Friday through next Tuesday, and our rain chances are pretty much nowhere to be found. And then you look at the next 6 to 10 days and you see that the overall trend, especially across the southern U.S. where our soakers come from, is below average precipitation. So again, the salt, the brine, it's necessary during the storm. I know for a lot of us it's kind of annoying afterwards, and it may be sticking around, especially as we see kind of a lull in the action condition after this one passes through. Elizabeth?
Yeah, Chris's car wash is maybe rather busy as we get into the weekend because we'll eventually warm up. Now, tomorrow's going to be really cold. We'll see a high of 36. It will be windy. We're going to have really bitter wind chills, 21 degrees Friday morning. But we do see some sunshine and 42 Friday. That's when we'll begin to see some melting, and that melting continues through the weekend. And if you're hoping for some warmer temperatures, we definitely see that by early next week.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. Wilson County is now under a winter storm warning, and that storm is moving closer by the minute. Stephen Mann is the Director of Communications for Wilson County. Stephen, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Getting ready for this weather, it's a really big challenge for you guys. What advice do you have for people in your area who need to get out on the roads today? Some people have no choice. They have to go to work.
Agreed. We always encourage those who can to stay in during winter storms, but we understand that people do have to get out for jobs, for emergencies. NCDOT Division 4 and the City of Wilson have been doing a great job of prepping our roads with brine the last few days. So all the roads I went down yesterday were already treated. Obviously, secondary roads that are shaded, they may be cause for concern. We just ask people to be safe and use caution.
And in addition to those shaded areas, are there any specific areas you're more concerned with than others?
Really just those secondary roads out in the county. Like I said, crews have done a great job, especially DOT in the outer portions of the county. So black ice is always a concern, especially as we get down below freezing and overnight. So we just ask people to be cautious of that as well.
Absolutely. Anything else you'd like to share with the people in your community ahead of this winter weather?
Just stay tuned to our social media. We'll be sure to keep that updated. We made the decision to close county offices yesterday afternoon out of concern for safety of our staff and the community. We'll be sure to post any updates to social media and our website throughout later this afternoon.
All right, Stephen Mann, thank you so much. We appreciate you being with us this morning.
Thank you.
Chris.
And we will get an update on the state's preparations for the storm this morning at 11 o'clock. Governor Josh Stein and emergency management officials will hold a briefing in Raleigh at the Emergency Operations Center, and you can watch that live at 11 o'clock on WRAL and all our digital platforms. Meanwhile, cities all over the country are being hit with cold weather, and Chicago definitely on that list. According to our NBC affiliate there, the high today is only 16 degrees with a low of 2. Wind chills yesterday reached as low as 30 degrees below zero. And well, those temperatures didn't stop some animals or some people from getting outside. One woman, in fact, said that despite how cold it was, not everything about it was bad.
Okay, I might be one of the only ones in Chicago that loves it. I know. Hot take. That's the hot take in Chicago. I like that it's like nice and quiet.
All right, Molly Pearson, don't say that out loud too much, all right? Temperatures there are expected to warm up closer to the 30s and even 40s by Sunday, Michelle.
I like what you said. It's a cold take, not a hot take.
It's a cold take.
It's Chicago. Well, with another round of winter weather coming in, you may feel sick of the cold. Today's allergists are warning some of us might actually be allergic to frosty temperatures. It's a thing. Some people break out in hives because of the low temperatures. Allergists say you can develop a rare condition from it. And Dr. Sandra Hong explains what to do if you think you have this condition.
I absolutely would have them seek guidance from an allergist for multiple different reasons. One, because we want to make sure that it's the true diagnosis. Two, there are medications that can help with this and we can keep you super comfortable.
And Dr. Hong also warns that what looks like cold-induced hives could actually be symptoms of other diseases. So be sure to check out a doctor's office if you have that.
A group of Jeep drivers, Jeepers Anonymous, are helping first responders in Oklahoma get to work despite all the snow there.
It's the most giving group I've ever been a part of.
They were super quick and they're super friendly and they're really helpful. I do not know how we get to work without them.
That was Gabriella, a nurse who was recommended the Jeepers by a coworker. Gabriella says the Jeepers are well known at her local hospital for ensuring they get to work in any conditions and maybe getting their driveway shoveled along the way. The Jeepers say they also give rides to police officers and firefighters during blizzard conditions. And many of them say the mission to give back, it's what drew them to join the club in the first place and take pride in owning a Jeep Wrangler. While we're getting ready for the snow, one of the world's most famous snow-related events is dealing with a lack of it. I'm talking about the Iditarod sled dog race in Alaska. It's being forced to make changes this year. Organizers say there is not enough snow on one of the trail's most dangerous stretches. So the starting line is being moved more than 350 miles north, and you got to think, this is a sport, or an event, I should say, at least where they need the snow. So not to have it, no bueno.
Yeah. All right, before we go to break, here's a look at your winning lottery numbers. We'll get another check on your weather forecast, what time the snow arrives here. We'll also check on traffic next.